What's up, y'all? It's Loco, and today we're gonna be talking about Minato versus Tobirama. So yeah, that Minato one shot just dropped. It's been really popular lately, so I thought, why not? Let me cash in on this Minato topic, right? So I know that no matter what I say, somebody's gonna end up getting mad, and I accept that, right? But I just ask that you wait until the very end of the video to drop your comments down below, right? Just so you don't get anything wrong, I don't get anything wrong. All right, now if I do get something wrong, feel free to correct me, but I have brought a ton of evidence to the table, and today I'm going to end the debate once and for all. Now, before we get into the video, I know my boys Prodigy and Satri are going to be coming out with a video on this. Be sure to check them out as well. All right, without further ado, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, join the Discord server, link in the description. Let's get right into the video. So obviously we're going to be talking about speedsters today, so I thought it was a good idea to just include a little portion explaining the different types of speed in a versus battle. First off, there's travel speed, which is very, very basic. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's how much distance someone can travel within a set amount of time, right? Now, that's not always very relevant to the fight, but there are a couple things that I'm gonna have to mention that are strictly for travel speed only. Now, combat speed is actually, the actual definition of combat speed is the ability to not only react to incoming attacks, but also the ability to counterattack against the same reactions, right? Speaking of reactions, reaction speed is the ability to physically react to an incoming attack as well as mentally, right? So I'm going to be differentiating between the three of these types of speed during this video. Just keep that in mind. And if you need further help, just look up the definitions on Google or something. Actually, what I'm going to be doing first is just to get all of y'all prepped for the final decision, right? I'm going to be talking about Tobirama's feats first, then I'm going to be talking about Minato's feats, and then I'm going to be combining statements and narrative and lore and all that stuff, and then doing like a final decision at the very end where I'm going to be talking about who would actually win. Right, so it's going to be like Hokage Minato versus Hokage Tobirama when they're both alive, and then Edo Minato versus Edo Tobirama, like including all of their feats in the 4th grade ninja war. But like I said earlier, we're going to be talking about Tobirama first. Let's just get him out of the way, right? So unfortunately, we didn't get to see too much from Tobirama while he's alive, so the majority of the feats I'm going to be pulling from are going to be in the 4th grade ninja war, right? So one of the first thing that he does in the war arc is just teleport True Secret Orb before KCM Minato can react, right? This is when Jubito attaches a little True Secret Orb to the side of Minato, and Minato's like, shoot, I gotta teleport it away. MKCM Naruto isn't able to react in time, so EMS Sasuke has to wrap his Susanoo around him in preparation for the blast. But Tobirama just pulls up, puts his hand on the True Secret Orb, and teleports it behind Jubito before he can react. Another thing that he does do is land an attack on Jubito with KCM Minato's help, right? Minato and Tobirama teleport ahead of Naruto and Sasuke and do this cool little trick thing to swap places with Jubito so that Naruto and Sasuke can land a hit on him, right? And that's one of the first times they actually do damage to Jubito. This is a notable feat because Jubito really isn't able to react to Tobirama's teleporting behind him, but you can just dismiss this by saying he was distracted by Naruto and Sasuke like charging right at him, right? Another notable feat is he teleports Naruto behind Jubito before he can react, and at that point Naruto uses his Senjutsu amped Rasengan to slam that shit right into Jubito's back. That's when they figure out that Senjutsu actually damages the Jubijin Shuriki. That's like the only thing that can damage them, and once again Jubito wasn't able to react to that attack. I should have mentioned this earlier, but I forgot about it. He physically reacts to unstable Jubito with paper bombs. Like, he's charged by Jubito before he even knows what he's doing, and then he just slaps a bunch of paper bombs on him before, like, either Jubito or any of the other Hokage realize what happened. Obviously, the paper bombs don't really damage Jubito because he's immune to that kind of stuff, but it's just crazy that he was able to react to a head-on charge from Jubito at that point. So, as you can see, Tobirama has a bunch of good feats that would keep him in the game, right? This is why this debate is still ongoing, right? Because he has these really good feats. But unfortunately, he did kind of get beat up by Madara. But before that, he was able to react to Madara's attack. So basically, let me break it down for you. I'm going to give you the play-by-play. So by this point, Hashirama has confirmed that revived Madara has regained his former strength in reference to Prime Madara from the Valley of the End. That should be the reference point for that. And Tobirama pulls up behind Madara with trying to hit him with that flying rising slash. Madara dodges due to Sage Mode. He senses him behind him, and he attempts to stab Tobirama, but Tobirama is able to teleport above him, and the last panel that we see from him is him about to kill Madara with the kunai, since he's teleported above him, and Madara is in like a bad position at that point. So that would mean that Tobirama in his Edo form reacts to Sage Madara with one Renegon, who should be significantly stronger than he was in his prime. The reason why Madara is significantly stronger is because not only does he have a Sage Mode buff at this point, which should be around a 10 times amp, if not more, especially since he took Hashirama's Sage Mode, but he also has Hashirama cells implanted into him. His entire body is basically Hashirama cells at this point. And of course, he has the Rinnegan, which is a superior dojutsu to the Mangekyo Sharingan that he had at the Valley of the End. So this Madara should be at least 10 times stronger than his prime alive form at the Valley of the End due to the Sage Mode buff. And the Hashirama cells and the Rinnegan buff is like kind of unquantifiable, but Obito did say that he accomplished so much, like everything in the war that he accomplished was due to the Rinnegan. So obviously the Rinnegan is a big buff as well, especially because of the 6 pass chakra that it provides. So I don't know, man. That's a pretty crazy feat. And this is backed up because Madara considers Tobirama to be faster than both Hashirama and Madara in their primes. He states that Tobirama used to boast the fastest speed of any ninja from their generation. So that would, of course, include Madara and Hashirama from the Valley of the End, which is a crazy statement, right? So Tobirama is pretty cracked. All of this would definitely keep him in the game. He's a top contender for one of the fastest people in the entire series. Now, I'm going to go over this real quickly. I'm just going to be talking about Tobirama's AP. He doesn't have like many AP showings, but one of his best feats is the tandem paper bombs, right? And a lot of people are just going to shrug this off. Oh man, what are some paper bombs going to do to someone like Minato, right? But the tandem paper bombs have multi-continental to possibly multi-planetary AP, since the deity gates tanked a Jubi bomb and held down V3 Jubi with pure strength alone, yet they could not tank the explosive blast of the tandem paper bombs, right? So that's actually insane, dude. The tandem paper bombs have, like, depending on how high you would scale the Jubi in terms of pure strength, and of course how strong you think its tailed beast bombs are, the fucking tandem paper bombs would just scale above that. They scale above Jubi bombs. So that's a very, very, very high AP, and it would definitely be one of his biggest win cons in the fight to come. So, like I said before, Tobirama is definitely one of the fastest shinobi. While he may not be as strong physically as Madara or Hashirama, he's definitely faster than both of them. And that's kind of like, that's not even debatable at this point. The statement and feats back it up from the story. But we might as well just move on to Minato. Now, I'm gonna be kind of ignoring the one shot. At this point, we're just going to talk about most if not all of his feats up until the war arc, and then I'll talk about the one shot's implications and how it might change his scaling after I've already laid out my personal scaling for Minato. So, starting off with Jonin Minato, he's able to react to Jonin A at his top speed, but he gets outsped by Jonin B. This means that he is only relative to them and hasn't completely surpassed them in speed, right? Because B is able to react to him after he teleports behind him. The fight isn't that one-sided, but it is still very impressive for Minato to be able to react to the Raikage at a young age. If you really want to upscale Minato, you can say that the Raikage didn't get any stronger over like the almost 20 plus years since Sasuke fought him at the 5 Kage Summit. I think that's very debatable. We actually see the Raikage training at several points in time, so Jonin A is kind of you can't really scale him anywhere, but that is still definitely a good feat for Minato. He should definitely be relative to a young Jonin A and Jonin B. Hokage Minato doesn't have much scaling while he's alive because Obito is kind of weaker than him. That's kind of show. That's the only fight that we've ever seen from Minato while he's Hokage, and he kind of just beats up Obito, who doesn't really scale to his older self. I've proved this in my Minato versus Sasuke video that a young yellow mask Obito doesn't really scale to orange mask Obito, and not even white mask Obito at all. So once again, if you want to upscale Minato, you can say that there is no difference between yellow mask Obito and orange mask Obito. Like, I guess if you want to say that Obito didn't do anything between the 16 years between the day Naruto was born to the war arc in Shippuden, then sure, if he didn't do any type of training, he didn't get any better with Kamui or his Mangekyo, then sure, he would scale to orange mask Obito. But it's very debatable, and it's up to your own interpretation. But he does have a few good feats against the Kyuubi. Of course, he's able to teleport a massive Bishudama, and he's able to teleport away the entire fucking Kyuubi as well. I know a lot of people say that Minato has like chakra relative to the Kyuubi because he was able to like beat it in a tug of war. But the fact of the matter is that the Reaper Desio kind of nerfs your opponent. I'll actually throw up the databook scan on the screen where it's proven to like make your opponent weaker as soon as it has taken hold of it, and it kind of gives you the advantage to pull out of their chakra. Like your opponent isn't able to use ninjutsu of any kind, and they're like kind of forced to stay in the same spot. On top of all of this, Kurama was being held down by Kushina at this point, which, depending on if you think the chains have like a suppressing effect on the Kyuubi's chakra, or if they've just held him down, it's kind of up to your own interpretation once again. But yeah, Hokage Minato doesn't have that many like scalable feats. A lot of them are just kind of unquantifiable since we don't know really how strong Yellow Mask Obito would be at that point, because honestly, I don't even know if he would scale to the Uchiha Massacre Obito, like the one that fought alongside Itachi, right? So it's once again, it's up to your own interpretation. Does he scale to Orange Mask Obito, or is he just unquantifiable in general? All right, now we're going to be moving on to Minato's Edo feats. So everything from here on, we're going to be talking about how the feats that he performed as an Edo Tensei in the war arc, right? So base Minato has faster Shun Swing than Tobirama and teleports away a Bijou Dama. That's like the first thing that we see him do as soon as he pulls up to the battlefield. Now, I'm going to throw up the panel up on screen where Tobirama does admit that Minato has faster Shun Swing than him. A lot of times, it is mistranslated to say teleporting, right? But the official translation is Shun Swing. So basically, Shun Swing is just travel speed. It has no real effect on the actual fight at hand, right? Because a lot of people will misconstrue this to say that Tobirama has like a weaker version of Flying Thunder God than Minato does, but it's not relating to Flying Thunder God at all. It is simply relating to his Shun Swing or Flash Step. So Shun Swing is the same thing that Shisui used, right? That's why he was called Shisui the teleporter. He was good at Shun Swing. He didn't know Flying Thunder God. He didn't know Flying Rising, right? He was good at Shun Swing, which is not the same thing as Flying Rising, right? So this doesn't mean that Minato is all that faster than Tobirama. It's just pure travel speed, which, like I said at the very beginning of the video, doesn't have much impact on this fight in general, especially when Tobirama made that statement in reference to seeing Minato travel somewhere before the rest of the Hokage did. So Minato has a few more good feats in base and in Sage mode towards the end of the war arc, but I'm gonna go along with this like chronologically, because right after this, Minato goes into his KCM form. So we're gonna be talking about Edo KCM Minato, right? So he doesn't do all that much at first until around the Jubito fight, which by now he is mental nerfed, right? So this isn't like the ceiling of his abilities. He was like nerfed after seeing Obito, and he wasn't thinking straight. So we can't necessarily use all the anti feats from this Jubito fight, right? So he did get blitzed by Jubito and get his arm cut off immediately, and of course earlier I mentioned that he wasn't able to react to the True Secret Orb as fast as Tobirama was, but he was mental nerfed at this point. It's still, you should keep in mind that Tobirama does have better feats than him at this point, but he was mental nerfed, so we can't really take that into account. Now, he doesn't do that much except stand on the sidelines until he makes a giant Rasengan with Naruto whenever they combine their QB chakra, right? So they both have their QB avatars and they pull up with the massive Rasengan. At this point, Minato is no longer mental nerfed because Naruto made a whole speech about to Obito about not disrespecting his dad or whatever, because Obito was saying some fuck shit about Minato, right? So at this point, it is stated that Minato's mental nerf is resolved. So by now, he is not mental nerfed anymore. This should be the climax of his abilities, right? Now, the massive Rasengan performed with Naruto did crack Obito's True Secret Orb shield, but the feat is kind of unquantifiable, and you can't really give it to Minato at this point because we don't know how much chakra Naruto poured into it. He also did pour in Senjutsu chakra as well, which would have amped it. Even if you want to say it was 50-50, there's also the Senjutsu chakra that was added as well, which would kind of push it more in Naruto's favor. So this feat is kind of unquantifiable. It's likely that Naruto had poured in more chakra than Minato at this point, specifically just because of the Senjutsu chakra. You can't really quantify how much of that was Minato's and how much of that was Naruto's. But Minato has no really other notable feats in KCM, except that Kakashi with no Raikiri amp is able to keep up with him and match his combat speed whenever they're trying to attack Black Zetsu. Of course, by now, Minato's mental nerf is resolved, yet Kakashi with no Raikiri amp actually, is still able to keep up with him and match his combat speed. There is no reason for Minato to be holding back in this scenario. In fact, the fate of the world depends on what just happened, because Obito is being forced to revive Madara. So there's no reason for Minato to be holding back, yet he is still relative to Kakashi in combat speed, which that isn't really a good look for Minato. So this is kind of the end of KCM Minato's notable feats. We're going to move on to Sage mode, right? So Edo Sage Minato is, in all honesty, completely featless and is only able to use one Rasengan. Like, I'm not even lying. If you reread the chapter, it only lasts for, I think, exactly 4 or 5 pages, to be exact. And throughout the entire duration of it, he uses one Rasengan and doesn't really go anywhere with it. Madara cuts off his arm and kicks him back with it. And it could have taken a long time to charge. I actually counted. The maximum amount of chapters it could have taken to charge was 6, but the minimum amount was at least 1.5, because after he gets the QB stolen from him, he's not really doing anything except watching Obito talk to Madara, and Obito's like, of course, stealing the Jinchuriki at this point. So he's kind of just standing still and watching. This is when he could have been gathering the nature energy, but it could go all the way back 6+ chapters prior, when he's just kind of staring down Zetsu, clinging on to Obito's body. Once again, it kind of depends on your own interpretation, but I'd like to clear up the air and say he cannot just go into Sage Mode whenever he wants. It kind of does take him a long time to charge it up compared to the other people, the other Sage Mode users like Hashirama and Naruto, who can kind of go into it at will, or after a few pages of charging it up, right? And of course, like I said, it didn't last very long either. So it probably wouldn't be very useful in this fight at all. I wouldn't even like, I may not even bring up Sage Mode in this fight because I don't think it's going to be very beneficial to Minato. Alright, so now we're going to be switching back to base Minato. This is his best feat in the entire series, but it's also his last notable feat that we have on file here, right? So, of course, as everybody knows, Minato's best feat is reacting to Madara's True Secret Orbs after he's already become the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, right? So, Guy goes into the 8th gate and he's trying to beat up Madara, and Madara sends a couple of True Secret Orbs straight at Guy, and Lee throws a kunai, Minato teleports in, and he teleports out. So it's actually a very good feat for him. He's able to react to those True Secret Orbs. In the anime, he does a 180 rotation, but technically that's not canon because in the manga, he just goes in and out. There is no rotation. There is no moving. So once again, yes, that is only reaction speed. He's not able to actually do anything else with it. So it is a very good feat that he was able to do, but that's his top highest feat that we have for him. Once again, he would probably be able to pull off even more impressive feats in KCM, but it's unquantifiable because we don't know how high he would scale at this point. That was only in his base form. So that was my scaling for Minato prior to the one-shot chapter's release, but now we can talk about what the one-shot implies and how it would affect everything that I've listed so far. So Minato he's young, and I think he's like a teenager. He's not even like a Jonin at that point, but his most notable feats was being compared to Hashirama and kind of clashing against Kurama, a full-powered Kurama. He wasn't split in half at this point. He did a couple other cool things in this fight, like teleport away from Roshi and Han before their Bishu bombs hit him, but that's frankly nothing that we've never seen Minato do before. So let's just move on to the two biggest things here. Once again, he's compared to Hashirama when he's like a teenager. Now, the literal translation for this is like Kurama says, a most powerful shinobi ranking alongside the first Hokage, Hashirama, right? So that could imply that Minato at a young age is relative to Hashirama, which is kind of insane. But it could also be not only a mistranslation, but it could mean several other things. It could be referring to his sealing jutsu, or it could be referring to his potential or his latent ability, right? So once again, it depends on your interpretation if you really think that teenage Minato is on Hashirama's level. Personally, I think that it would be more akin to like his potential will soon be on Hashirama's level after like a couple years, or maybe even his sealing jutsu. I don't really agree with that interpretation, but his sealing jutsu is really good because it was able to hold down the entire QB just like Hashirama did. Right? So, like I said, depends on your interpretation, depends on how much credit you want to give Minato. If you take it at face value and say that Minato as a teen is as strong as Hashirama, despite kind of lacking the feats for it, go right ahead. But personally, I'm going to stick with the potential / latent ability, which would mean that Minato in his prime, either in his Hokage days or in his KCM form, could possibly be relative to Hashirama based off the potential statement, right? Also, he does clash against Kurama with the Bijou Bomb. Honestly, the Bijou Bomb was kind of small and Kurama was being tied down. He had 2 seals placed on him, one from Minato and one from Kushina, but it's still impressive that Minato was able to survive that clash in the first place. I'm pretty sure it's implied that he lost it, but he did kind of survive that that Bijou Bomb clash. So it's a pretty good feat. It's a pretty good feat. I don't think the one-shot changes that much to begin with, unless, like I said, if you want to take the statement at face value. I also don't think that the Bijou Bomb class is very impressive to begin with, but it depends on what you think, depends on your interpretation. Let me know what y'all think about it down in the comments. So now we can move on to Hokage Minato versus Hokage Tobirama. This is how they both were when they were alive, right? So Minato wouldn't have KCM, right? So he only would have access to Sage Mode, and Tobirama would have access to all of the things that he's known to do during the war arc. So the war arc feats would still apply as long as it's not KCM for Minato, because obviously that would be stronger than his base Hokage form. I shouldn't have to explain that. But honestly, if you've been paying attention throughout the video, especially during the Tobirama part, you should know that Tobirama should win kind of easily against Hokage Minato. He does have better feats than him in relation to speed and AP. All we've ever seen Minato do in terms of AP is clash with Kurama with his Rasengan and like damage a young Obito that probably doesn't scale to his older self. Right now, Tobirama's tandem paper bombs have been scaled to be at least multi-continental because the Jubi blasts are shaking up the earth. You can see the curvature of the fucking earth from the Jubi's blast, right? The blasts are massive, and the deity gates tank them within the Crimson Ray barrier, right? So it was a confined blast from the Jubi, and they tanked that shit. And then here comes Tobirama with the tandem paper bombs and just blows them all up, right? Like it's not even funny. Like, those tandem paper bombs are no joke. They would scale above the AP of a fucking Jubi blast, right? It's not even close. The difference in their AP is so massive, right? Now, in relation to their speed, of course, Tobirama's best feat is like reacting to one Renegon Sage Madara, right? Who at that point should be stronger than Prime Hashirama and Prime Madara. So even if you want to take the statement at face value saying that Minato is stronger than Hashirama, Tobirama would still be faster than that as well, right? And of course, Minato in base doesn't have like the best feats. Of course, his best feat in base would be reacting to the True Seeker orbs, but I didn't mention this earlier, but a lot of people have reacted to those True Seeker orbs, right? And as a matter of fact, Guy did it, Kakashi did it, fucking crippled Obito after he had the Jubi yanked out of him, and after he revived Madara, was able to block them, right? And fucking Rock Lee completely outsped them. Completely outspeeding something is faster than simply reacting to it, right? So Guy and Lee completely outsped that, while Minato is out here just reacting to it, right? So technically, Minato is probably one of the slowest people that has ever reacted to those True Seeker Orb, just based off feats, since everybody else was able to kind of either outspeed them or just physically react to and block them, right? So obviously, fucking Sage Madara would be faster than Rock Lee. I could go into a bunch of scaling for this, but let's just say that Edo Madara was able to easily react to and block KCM to Naruto. Whenever he did that Uchiha reflection shit, he just pulled up the fan as soon as Naruto was charging him, and he just blocked his attack, right? And Edo Madara is far, far weaker than Sage Madara with the Renegon. So, of course, KCM2 Naruto would scale above Rock Lee. He got reacted to and blocked by Edo Madara, and Edo Madara is weaker than Sage Madara with the Renegon, who Tobirama clearly reacts to. So this means that Tobirama has the faster reaction speed than Minato at this point. That means that Minato wouldn't even be able to land a hit on him, because Tobirama would be able to react to and teleport away from any of Minato's attacks, right? He would also have faster combat speed showings than Minato as well, because he was able to tag Jubito before anybody else realized. Any of the other Hokage or Jubito himself wasn't able to perceive that the tandem paper bombs were already on his body. Of course, honestly, Tobirama is kind of more shown to be a match for KCM Minato in the war, alongside MKCM Naruto and EMS Sasuke at this point. So it's not even really a debate here. Like, Tobirama just has the better feats than Hokage Minato. Honestly, the highest you could scale Hokage Minato would be around early KCM 1 speed. So none of his feats in base or Sage mode would put him at that KCM 1 level, right? Reacting to a younger Raikage and kind of being blitzed by base B, not even V1 or V2, but base B, a younger base B, doesn't put him on KCM level, bro. It doesn't put him on KCM 1 level. Kind of beating up a young 14-year-old Obito doesn't put him on KCM 1 level. Right? The only good feat that he has that would possibly put him near that area would be reacting to the True Seeker orbs, and that, of course, would all depend on if you think that Rock Lee is faster than fucking KCM 1 Naruto. So it kind of all depends on how you scale Rock Lee. The only way that Minato would ever be able to reach the KCM 1 speeds here would be solely based off statements, because there's a statement from Tsunade and a statement from B that would put Minato at the early KCM 1 level, right? So B says, Naruto looks exactly like the Yellow Flash. When he slams the shit out of Kisame, he thought he teleported like Minato did, right? So he compares him to Minato at that point, and later on, whenever Naruto kind of outspeeds the Raikage, an older and more experienced fourth Raikage. Tsunade is like, oh my god, is this Minato? What the hell? What the hell am I witnessing, right? But at the same time, Minato is also compared to to Sage Naruto in the Pain arc by Tsunade. She like looks at Naruto, and then she sees Jiraiya and Minato standing beside him, which could mean that she's comparing him to the two of them. I don't know, man. I personally, at this point, I do think that Sage Naruto from the Pain arc surpassed Minato in terms of AP only. I'm not talking about speed, but I do think that a Sage Amp Rasen Shuriken would be stronger than anything Minato has in his arsenal. I just feel like putting that out there. So yes, Minato without statements is arguably not even KCM 1 level, right? Depending on how fast you think Rock Lee is. With statements, yes, he would be early KCM 1 level at best. I know a couple of you might bring up that statement from it's not even really a statement. Like whenever Naruto pulls out KCM 2 for the first time, Kakashi has like a little hallucination, and he sees like he thinks Naruto is Minato, right? But in the manga, it's not very clear. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to refer to the anime, but if you look at it in the anime, he literally sees Minato standing in front of him, and then it turns into Naruto, right? But that could deadass just be that their capes look the same, because it's like a shot from the back of Naruto, right? And it's like showing how their capes are exactly the same. I don't think that even proves that he would be on that level, especially after seeing everything else that we've talked about. I can definitely say that Tobirama would definitively win, because he'd be able to react to and provide counterattacks for all of base Minato's attacks. If you want to talk about Sage Minato, we can. I don't think it's really worth talking about, because the Sage mode is going to take him a while to charge up. He's not going to have any time to be doing that against Tobirama, and if he's only able to maintain it for one Rasengan, he's going to have to get really, really, really lucky against someone like Tobirama, who already scales much, much higher than him in terms of speed. Now, there are a couple tricky things that Tobirama is going to have to watch out for. It is shown that Minato can like place a ceiling jutsu really, really, really fast, but I don't think that Tobirama should have to worry about that too much. Tobirama is shown to be able to do similar things as well. He's able to place paper bombs before anybody can fucking perceive what's going on. So Minato is going to have to watch out for the exact same thing, right? Obviously, Minato has summonings for like Gamma Bunta and maybe some other Toad summonings as well. And to that, I just say Tana Paper Bombs. I know that a lot of you are going to be saying that Tobirama wouldn't be able to use it while he's alive, but he wouldn't be able to use it on himself. He can either get Edo Tensei or Shadow Clones to use it for him. Now, Edo Tensei is going to require prep time, but he could also use it with Shadow Clones just as easily. I see no reason why he couldn't just hand a Shadow Clone a Tana Paper Bomb and just say, hey, go blow him up, right? And then Gamma Bunta is gone, and then Minato, if he wouldn't survive the explosion, he'd have to teleport away. He's going to be left without his summonings, back to square one, right? So really, I see no way how Hokage Minato would be able to beat Hokage Tobirama, especially since Tobirama should be faster than all of his feats that we listed before, because he wouldn't have the Edo Tensei nerf placed on him, right? So with that being said, I can say that Tobirama would win mid difficulty at best. All right, hopefully y'all don't get too mad about that, but now we can move on to Edo versus Edo, which would be KCM Minato versus Edo Tobirama, right? So I already proved that Minato, with a mental nerf in KCM, should be slower than Tobirama. At that point, he does have worse feats than Tobirama with the mental nerf. Without the mental nerf, the highest you could scale KCM Minato, being very, very generous, would be KCM 2 Sage Naruto. Right, that is the absolute highest that you would be able to scale him. That's kind of being disingenuous as well. There's nothing to really put him on that level, because the only time we've ever seen them kind of work together or even be compared together is whenever they use the massive Rasengan clash against Obito, and once again, it's unclear how much power Naruto poured into that. He also put in Senjutsu Chakra as well, which would have amped the entire thing. So you can't really say that he'd be on that level to begin with, especially when there are multiple statements that prove that Minato isn't even on KCM2 Naruto's level. Kurama says several times that Naruto, like this is immediately after Naruto went into KCM2, he was like, yeah, Kushina, Minato, your kid has surpassed you. And he's like, he's able to use my chakra very skillfully. He surpassed both of you already a long time ago. That's what he says. He's like, actually, he surpassed you guys a while ago, which would probably mean KCM1. I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, honestly, it's very disingenuous to put him on that level, but we will highball him and say that he is, ignoring the fact that Kakashi was able to keep up with him without the Raikiri amp, but Tobirama should still be faster, and let me explain why. So KCM2 Naruto, is kind of supposed to be relative to Edo Hashirama at that point. Give them both Sage Mode, and they're still relative. The Sage Mode buff should be similar at that point. They're both perfect sages. They're both very experienced. So yeah, KCM2 Sage Naruto should be relative to Sage Hashirama as an Edo Tensei. Depending on whether or not who you think would win, doesn't really matter. They are relative. There are multiple statements from Hashirama claiming this as well. Now, Revive Madara while blind beat up everybody, including Hashirama, stole his Sage Chakra, and got a Renegon on top of that, and Tobirama was still able to react to him, right? So Tobirama would still scale above Minato at this point, even if you were to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he would be on KCM2's Sage Naruto's level, right? That is the absolute highest you could scale Minato at this point, and he would still be slower than Tobirama. If we're being totally honest, we don't have many combat speeds from KCM Minato after he's not mental nerfed anymore, except for the Kakashi thing. But if we were to just use his feats from when he was mental nerfed, it's kind of unfair. Like I said before, Tobirama has the better feats against him. He's able to catch Jubito off guard multiple times. He's able to blitz behind him before Jubito can react. And Minato is just kind of watching from the sidelines. Of course, he gets blitzed by a True Secret Orb and has to be saved by Tobirama. There are several instances of something like this happening where Tobirama has to take action. So yeah, even in KCM, Minato would still be slower than Tobirama. And I proved this with the feats shown in the series, right? Now, the biggest issue would be the Kurama avatar, right? That shit is going to be hard for Tobirama to deal with, especially because we're going to say that Minato isn't mental nerfed at this point, which would mean he'd be unquantifiably stronger than he was with the mental nerf. So we can't really say exactly how strong he would be, but that Kurama avatar is still going to be a big problem nonetheless, except for when Tobirama uses those tandem paper bombs. Yup, we're bringing that shit up again. Those tandem paper bombs are going to break that avatar, right? And let me prove this to you, right? So once again, let me repeat myself. The Deity Gates were able to tank a Jubi Blast from V3 Jubi, right? So the Jubi was in its version 3. It was kind of fully transformed at this point, and they just tanked the blast from it, right? It was a concentrated blast because it was within the Crimson Barrier that the Hokages put up, right? So they tanked a concentrated Jubi Blast, even more than just like a normal blast, right? And they weren't able to tank an explosion from the tandem paper bombs, right? Which means that the tandem paper bombs have a higher AP or a DC than the Jubi Blast at this point. Now, the Jubi in V1, in its version 1 state, that's when it immediately became the Jubi. It wasn't as strong as its more powerful forms. Naruto's Kurama avatar at that point kind of got beat up by the Jubi, right? And it wasn't able to tank a Jubi Blast. When it didn't even really take a blast head on. I'll throw the panels up on screen. But Naruto lost like most of his tails. He used the tails to protect himself, and they were gone, right? So a weaker Jubi Blast was able to make like the tails of the Kurama avatar disappear, right? So the Deity Gates were able to tank a stronger Jubi Blast from version 3 Jubi, but they were not able to tank the tandem paper bomb. So yeah, it's kind of shaky evidence. I definitely think that Naruto's Kurama avatar and Minato's Kurama avatar at that point should be relative, right? Minato isn't as experienced with it, just like Naruto isn't as experienced with it at that point. If anything, Naruto should be more experienced because that would be the first time. Minato only ever pulled out the Kurama avatar one time, and by this point, I think Naruto's done it at least 2 or 3 times, but he still wasn't able to tank that attack. So I can say with almost 100% certainty that the tandem paper bombs would be able to break through the Kurama avatar completely, since they scale higher than a V3 Jubi Blast, right? And fucking Naruto's Kurama avatar kind of got shit on by 1. Also, Minato is never shown to perform a Bijudama. As far as I remember, I might be wrong about this, but I've been recording this for a while, and I'm almost positive that he's never been shown to actually perform a Bijudama. So all he would really have would just be his normal Rasengan, sealing jutsus, summoning. Of course, he would have the QB Cloak and the Kurama Avatar. Please in the comments don't even bring up that Minato might be able to stack Sage Mode on top of that. I've already proved that he's not a good Sage at all. Even if it did work, it wouldn't be able to be maintained for a long period of time. It might give him the edge over Tobirama. Who knows? I definitely think that this fight would be a lot harder for Tobirama, except that he still does scale to be a lot faster than Minato at this point. Even if you highball him to KCM2 Sage Naruto, Tobirama just has better speed feats in general and would be able to react to and dodge all of his attacks. And he would be able to fuck up the Kurama avatar with just some tandem paper bombs. And that's kind of GG's. That's kind of the end of the fight, right? Once again, Tobirama would win high diff to extreme diff, just depending on how high you think Minato scales. I honestly don't even think he scales to KCM 2 stage Naruto. Like, Kurama kind of implies this as well, saying that he's inferior to Naruto. So he may just fucking scale to like an MKCM Naruto. It's kind of arbitrary at that point. It depends entirely on what you think. But I can say with certainty that Tobirama would be able to beat all forms of Minato, even with the new information that we have seen in the one-shot. Real quick, I'd like to give a big shout out to Satori, Afro Saiyan, Prodigy, and Peach Fuzz, also known as Class Clown, for helping me out with this video. Me and Prodigy argued a lot over this video. He said he was going to be dropping one of his own very, very soon. Be sure to check that out as well. I'm sure Satori is doing the same. Check out both of their channels. Links for them are going to be in the description. Also, speaking of Afro Saiyan, he had a very, very unfortunate thing happen to his YouTube account, so he created a new one. So I'm going to be linking him down in the description as well. Be sure to follow all of them. Drop me a subscribe as well. Like the video, turn on notifications, join the Discord server, link in the description. But other than that, I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace.
No sunshine.